Oh boy. Well, I noticed a few patterns in the choices of Prime Minister Carney's cabinet. I noticed that he acknowledges, unconsciously at least, not having the skill sets to know who to trust or not. So he's appointing people that he's known a long time that are not specifically skilled enough to undertake the huge responsibilities they have, but because he doesn't know how to assess strangers for this trust, because those are social interpersonal skills. It's not things you learn when you study economics. When you study economics, it's almost like, well, watch my video of 12 of why I call myself Dr. Humanix #1, because in there I say what was apparent to me in the first economics class I took. Okay, there's a lot of BS in it. And, and I'm not saying, oh, wow, I studied BS or I have a degree in BS. Well, the world is majoritively this type of magical monetary paradigm BS. So it's not like you can't use it on this planet during the Anthropocene, right? That's why we're here in the Anthropocene, because of this type of BS. You'll notice, I don't know if anybody noticed, that I've never included recently, well, for quite a while now, Chrystia Freeland, because I studied her letter specifically for resigning that led to Trudeau going, which was a good thing that Trudeau left. And it's not specifically. By the way, I think Trudeau is not as good as you are for the things that people think are crucial. Well, one thing that you are not as much as Trudeau could have been with a particular psychological shift is to be a lifelong learner. You are older and you're really stuck in your outdated paradigms and in your connections in the long term. I know you have a link to Freeland, and you kind of don't want to let that go. But I think also nobody's watching my vlogs, or you're not, because you probably would have not chosen her for things that relate to working with other people, because she does backdoor politics, right? And it's not a good thing when you're trying to form collaborations between provinces, for one thing. And Prime Minister Carney, I am noticing, since you started, in politics some months ago, that you're behaving in a way that is being coached to be like a politician. So it's not really your strength. You're not going to become stronger in the world of politics when you get away from being your genuine self. Your genuine self definitely lacks, what a social scientist culture pair would have, a systems thinker that incorporates, the humanities and the social sciences. And by the way, economics is a form of mental illness. Should be in the DSM-5. We're not that evolved as a species, so it's not in it. So we still incorporate that in social sciences. And again, I've said that, places like colleges or schools that say, "Oh, we'd like to hire you to teach social sciences," but they're mostly wanting me to do economics. And then I say, I'm sorry, that I will do economics in part of discussing concepts of mental illness, but the social sciences are, again, they're psychology, anthropology, sociology. Those are social sciences. And you need to understand that even when it comes to, campaigning for an election. It's like, when I see surveys of what is important to Canadians, I can see how disconnected from reality they are. Listening to Matt Galloway talk about the concept of life skills, but really he was mostly talking about living skills the whole time, and his specialists that were mostly from the US. And when I look at these things, websites from the US, it's like, oh man, these are business as usual. This is nonsense. They think they created this big organization that's going to, reverse the course of the devolution of the human condition, when they don't even realize they're part of it. Okay, so to get back to your choices, and I know that I will always be ignored, which is why please have at least the common decency when it comes the time for my petition in the House of Commons to honor it. and get supporters to honor it, because it asks nothing of you that owes me so much for everything I've put in as the elusive Homo sapien that turned out to have self actualized from being one of you, the Homo communia, but self actualizing into what you need up here to become an Homo sapien, and just wasting my time in Canada. And yes, becoming bitter about it and becoming unhealthy physically about it. Now, of course, I can cope with this better than most, but you must realize that there's just one of me and there's everybody of you, so it's still amazing I'm this functional. And of course, I would become much better in my functionality if I was given a tiny role somewhere to just volunteer doing something that I didn't even need to finish high school to do, but that I'll probably do really well because I pursue quality as opposed to quantity. Now, aside from the pattern of assigning people you already know for a long time, is I can see that you are succumbing to peer pressure, not just in the way of acting like a politician, but also in the sense of the topics you choose and things like that. You are not somebody that will be deviating from the norm fast enough to be able to, slow down the devolution of our proto-societies. So I haven't found my list yet of different topics, and I know it's good because sometimes my mind gets on something and it's very creative for that particular theme for a while, so it's worth finding it. But right now I wanted to report that it's same old, and I'm not saying you're like Trudeau. I'm saying you're like the norm, and we need better than that. You can mostly act and talk like the norm, but don't strategize like them.